everyone, this is Amanda from devotioninaction.com, and here I am in Hebrews 4, verse 16, and we've got these free printables, the gift of grace here, and I was just kind of thinking about how I wanted this on the page, and so you can kind of play around with whatever size you want to use, and I wanted the majority of it to be in that little, I don't know, margin. That's what it's called. Wow, cannot think of the words today, people. It's just that kind of day. So I was trying to figure out exactly how I wanted this to go. And sometimes you have to fold over the edges of paper to get it to go exactly where you want it to go. And I wanted the branch to kind of overlap the words. So just kind of getting that where I want it. Then I can trace it with some pencil. And definitely before I trace with pencil, I want to put down washi tape to keep it in place so it doesn't slide around as I'm tracing this image. It's not a super complicated image, but there are some smaller elements to it. So I'm also keeping the other printable over to the side where I can see that in case I get a little confused about what's going on underneath the page there. That's pretty handy too. So Hebrews 4:16 says, "Therefore let us approach the throne of grace with boldness, so that we may receive mercy and find grace to help us in time of need." And I don't know about you guys, but I'm finding that we have some times of need in the past couple of years at our house and in our family and in, personal health issues that I've been having and stuff like that. So this is really timely to me. I'm going to read that one more time. "Therefore, let us approach the throne of grace with boldness, so that we may receive mercy and find grace to help us in time of need." That's Hebrews 4:16. And, I was thinking about this, and I was thinking about God sitting on his throne, extending grace to us. And we can approach him boldly only because of his grace allowing it and making it possible. When we are in need, we can come to him not because we are worthy of entering his presence, but because he asks us to come to him. This is a throne of grace, a ruler with the right to choose who is allowed to enter his presence or to speak to him. God's grace does not measure our worthiness. He offers us a gift in spite of how unworthy we are. This gift of grace, it's a restoration of relationship with the Creator God. And now I'm just going to trace over with my Faber-Castell Pitt Artist pen. This is non-reactive to water, so I can watercolor right over the top of it, and it won't smear or smudge. And just going to trace all of those pencil lines and then erase the pencil, and then I can watercolor. We're not worthy. We are unworthy to enter his presence, but God, I love those two words, but God is gracious. His grace opens his hands toward us with the gift of his presence in our lives if we want it. Jesus lived a human life and was tempted in every way, but he overcame sin and conquered hell. And all of that so that we can be saved from the consequences of our sin. Because we're not innocent. We all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. We simply have to open our hands to receive his incredible gift of salvation and relationship with him. And once we've accepted God's gift of grace, we can offer a gift of grace to others in our lives. Is there someone in your life that you have deemed unworthy of your presence, undeserving of your goodwill or relationship? I know sometimes I jump to conclusions about people, or I decide that maybe they're not good enough. And I'm just being honest. I mean, sometimes we look at people and we decide, right? But God doesn't do that with us. And so as we kind of embrace his gift of grace, it's time to take another look at those assumptions that we make, at those views that we have of people, and extend some grace to those that maybe before we weren't gracious to, like God is gracious to us. And now I'm just grabbing my little travel watercolors and adding some sky blue, pretty light, just around this image. I didn't particularly have a super big plan for this page. I just started watercoloring. So I was thinking this blue might be nice, just a little bit, not anything super dark or overwhelming, but just a little bit of blue. And then I always like to start pretty light on branches, leaves, all of that stuff, and then bring in the darker colors afterwards. So we start with our lightest, and then near the bottom of the branch, we're going to pull in some of that darker color. Also, I was thinking like that branch is going back into a tree. And so as it gets covered by the leaves, it's also going to be darker at that back wider edge back there as well. I don't know if I really managed to do that with this quick watercolor that I was doing, but you know, it was in my thought process. Sometimes it's the thought that counts, right? So a lot darker, adding some black into my brown to add that underside of the branch, because it just was not getting dark enough. And when I tried to blend it, it was lightening up again. I don't know. I was having trouble with my browns today. Everybody has trouble with some things sometimes, but it turned out okay. I mean, branches aren't real uniform in color anyway, so it's okay if it's mottledy and kind of strange. I do like this green though. It came out like a, I don't know, very muted green. And in addition to doing like one side of the leaves for shadowing, I'm bringing it darker toward where the vein of the leaf would come into it. And I really liked that effect too. You just kind of play around with it sometimes, and sometimes it's really nice what happens. So you can see how that it's darker where the leaf is actually hooked into the tree, and then gets lighter toward the tip of the leaf. And then I also wanted to make the word grace in the green of those leaves as well. So just kind of coloring that in. I think this brush is probably about a size 10 round brush. And it has enough of a point on the end of it to do some pretty small spaces. It's not, but it's a pretty big brush too. I mean, it's really probably my go-to, the brush I pick up the most to just watercolor a general image. And then the bow is green on this, and probably green and purple are my two favorite colors to watercolor with. In like life in general, I love orange as well, but I don't always have a great track record with getting the right color orange on the page, and purple and green always seem to work. And so I'm going to do this gift in kind of a purpley color. Purpley blue maybe. It's not, I mean, it's purple in person, but it's looking more blue on screen. So I don't know what happened there. And then just kind of darkening the sides, like the, sun will be shining on the top and you'd see it darker on the sides. I don't know. You could do the top darker if you wanted, like the branches casting a shadow on it, and do some of the sides lighter. It just depends on where you think the light is coming from, I suppose. If it's coming kind of from the side, the back side, and then like shining down on in between the branches onto the top, you could get the effect that I've got. I went outside the lines, so I reactivated with some water there and then picked it up with a paper towel so that I didn't have a big blob of purple outside the lines. Watercolors are very forgiving and easy to work with because they fix pretty easily, which is nice. Gonna grab some of this gold from the Kuretake Starry Colors set, and changed my mind about the green bow. I didn't like it with the purple, so we're going to add some gold. And I'm going to add just a touch of gold going on the black lines that would be like the twine, the ribbon going around the package. Just adding a little bit of sparkle there so that it has some shimmer and some sparkle, and we realize that this gift is a really good gift. It's got gold ribbon and bows on it. I'm going to take that shiny gold. And by the way, these Kuretake Starry Colors, they are fabulous. They are so nice on the page. They look in person, they look so shimmery and shiny, and there's a lot of pigment in them, so it's easy to get a lot of color down on the page with them. And so if you get a chance to try out the Kuretake Gansai Tombi watercolors, maybe, and especially this starry color that has the shininess. And this is pretty much it. I'm going to add my @DevoInAction social media tag for Instagram and Facebook, the hashtag overflowing grace, and day 6. This is the gift of grace. If you haven't checked it out, you can get free devotionals and free printables at devotioninaction.com. And if you sign up for my newsletter, you get access to a free resource library that has a ton of printables in it, all there for free for you. So I'd love to see you come over and grab those. And I would love to hear your thoughts about this gift of grace and see your photos of Bible journaling in our Devotion in Action Facebook group, or just post something to Instagram and tag me in it. Thanks so much for watching. See you tomorrow for day 7.